Welcome to solving trigonometric equations using radians. So let's look at an example. We're going to solve this from 0 to 2 pi. This is one we've done before when we did degrees. But now, when the question says from 0 to 2 pi, this indicates that you need to have your solutions in radians. So the way we're going to approach this is that we're going to solve it in degrees because that's what we're used to, and then we'll convert our solutions to radians. If need be, we'll convert them to decimals, and we'll see that in our last example. So for sine theta equals to a half, so using our rules of all stations to Crookwell, so sine is positive in the first and second quadrant. So the first thing you do is you draw your triangles in those two quadrants, and then you calculate the theta to place in those triangles. So we do shift sine, or sine minus 1/2, and that's 30 degrees. So we've drawn our two triangles in our first and second quadrant, put the 30 degrees in. So therefore, from the positive x-axis, our first angle is 30 degrees and our second angle is 150 degrees. Converting both of these to radians, you do 30, you times them both by pi on 180. So on your calculator, you do 30 over 180. That gets you 1/6. So you put the pi on top and you get pi on 6. The same with 150 degrees. You do 150 over 180 on your calculator. That gets you 5/6. So our answer is 5 pi on 6. So here we have a couple of harder examples. So we're going to look at when trig ratio is equal to negative, so the different quadrants that they lie in. The first one's going to be an exact solution, and the second one we are going to approximate to 3 decimal places in radians. So we're going to get our answers in degrees again and convert them to radians because the question says it's between 0 and 2 pi. So for our first one, cos theta equals -1/2. So cos is negative in the second and third quadrants. So we always solve cos, or always solve it for the positive so that we know what degrees it ends up in. So cos -1/2 is 60 degrees. Put the 60 in your triangles. So that means from the positive x-axis, our first answer is 120 degrees and our second is 240. Converting these to radians, 120 times pi on 180. So remember, 120 over 180 is 2/3. So that's 2 pi on 3. And 240 times pi on 180, on your calculator put 240 over 180 and you get 4 on 3. So you get 4 pi on 3 as our answer. So for this one, because we don't end up with an exact solution, we're going to have to approximate our two answers. So sine theta equals to -2/3, so sine is negative in the third and fourth quadrants. Draw your triangles in those, and shift sine of 2/3 gets you 41.81 degrees. Put that into the triangles. So I've used 42 degrees, but we'd use 41.81 degrees because we want it to be as accurate as possible when we convert it to radians. So our two angles are 221.81 and 318.19. Enter this on your calculator, but we're not going to create a fraction. We're actually going to do 221.81 times, and then you're going to do pi over 180. So that gets you 3.871 radians. And the second one is 318.19 times pi on 180, and that gets you 5.553. Thank you.